The Hilton sale is on. Now through September 29th, you can save up to 20% on stays this fall and beyond. Long weekends, last-minute getaways, holiday gatherings. There's a Hilton stay for all of them. More moments, more experiences, more destinations. Now 20% off for a limited time because it matters where you stay. Don't wait. Book by September 29th and save up to 20% at Hilton.com. Terms apply. Hilton for the stay.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Gary Birtles, one of the old gits from a long time ago. You've got to tune into Tricky Talks, I believe, so just do it. All the best.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
How we could do with those players now, eh, guys? Hello and welcome to the Tricky Talks podcast as we return for our second episode of the week, looking back at Swansea and ahead to what could be a critical game at Burnley. Kate is here, Mollo is here, Chelsea's not here today, but we'll be back next week. And Kate, can I ask you, have you got over Wednesday yet?
I think I have. Yeah. It was a tough one. It really was, and I think there was so many things buzzing around my head Wednesday night, first thing Thursday morning. But by Thursday afternoon, I'd got into some perspective. I'd listened to a few other people talk, and yeah, I'm feeling better.
Good. Mollo, a Ray game you missed. Are you glad you didn't make the trip to South Wales?
Having received a text at 3:10 from somebody who said I've just got home on the back of the way it went, yes, because I still haven't got over it.
Yeah, I'm struggling as well, to be honest, guys. But let's get straight into it then. We'll do our usual takeaways. Let's have a general chat before that, though. Are you guys concerned? I mean, that's 3 games in a row now where we've conceded 3 goals. The opportunity to win a trophy is now down to 66.6%. If you don't include the Premier League title, which realistically Forest are not going to win, that's only leaves the FA Cup and the Europa League now for an opportunity to win a trophy this year. And if you think back to our pre-season show, that's where I thought the next logical step would be for me is to win a trophy, and actually predicted us to win the Carabao Cup. So that's one prediction down the Swanee, if you excuse the pun. These come fast and furious every week, don't they? These
win of the week.
Yep. So over to you, Mollo. Are you concerned yet? What were your general thoughts around the overall thing of just literally exiting the Carabao Cup?
2 things, really. Firstly, winning is a habit, but so is losing. And that's 3 straight defeats, regardless of changes of manager and all the other stuff. The players that are out there, and some have played in all of the games, some haven't, they're now currently in a losing habit. Last year, we managed to get into the predominantly winning habit. And I'm very much from the Cloughie era. You play every game to win. You don't enter a tournament to get to the semi-final or quarter-final. You enter it to win it once you're in the Premier League. Concern's perhaps a strong word, but I think it was the previous show where I did say Burnley is a massive game, and it's got even more massive now. So there is an element of concern. We will see.
Well, yeah, we'll do our takeaways, as I say, in a sec. But Kate, as the goals went in right at the end, 90 plus 3, 90 plus 7, it was pretty hard to take, wasn't it? I mean, I was not happy at the time, and as soon as the final whistle went, I just turned it off. I couldn't bear to watch anymore. How were you feeling at that time? It was gut-wrenching, I think.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It was the nature of the defeat that was so difficult to take. And do you know what? Even when they scored their first, I was still okay. And I'm not normally that would be the point where I would hit the panic button and go, oh, and I wasn't. I thought, no, this is all right. We're going to score again. We might even score twice more. And then we're on for my 4-1 win prediction. Yeah. So I was like, this is okay. And then they just capitulated like they did at West Ham. And I think that's something to note, that they did do that with West Ham under Nuno. They did it under Ange against Swansea. It was gut-wrenching. However, if you could pick a game for us to lose out of Swansea, Burnley and Betis, and if we could have picked that this time last week, we're all picking Swansea.
You mentioned about the fact, Kate, they conceded 3 in a very short space of time against West Ham, and they did it again against Swansea. What's the reason for that? It's because there were 2 different defences and a different goalkeeper. Is it just the Forest way? Is it psychologically in their minds, or what? It's difficult to pinpoint the reasons for that, isn't it?
I think the reasons are very similar. I think we used the word complacency when we spoke about West Ham, and the only way that we could lose that game would be complacency. And I think that's what they did in the end. I think even when they brought the substitutes on, they thought that this game was won. They thought they'd come on to manage it out, and then they did not do a good job of that at all. There was a significant dip in actual fact. I hope they have learnt from that, and that's what it is. It is I saw this somewhere, it's in the learnings, isn't it? That's what this has got to be. It's got to be a learning curve for the players, for Ange. And I think in some respects for us as well, as fans, we need to be really getting behind them in the last 15 minutes. Okay, that's what we need to be doing tomorrow at Burnley. We need to be singing as loud as we've sung the whole time. Don't give up on them. Don't get frustrated with them. Don't start hurling abuse at them. We've seen a lot of that in the last few days as well. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, and Kate's right, Mollo. They looked so comfortable, didn't they? First half was a great first half, going 2-0 up, and then in the second half they created quite a few chances, didn't they? Yates had one, McAtee had one, Callum Hudson-Odoi had one, Kalimuendo had one, I think, that he miskicked. So they could have scored, couldn't they? They just couldn't quite get over the line. It's like, and that was kind of a positive element of the game, wasn't it? That they weren't being battered. They were dominant, and they looked to be playing reasonably okay, I thought, and were knocking it around really well. It's just getting to that end point, wasn't it? Getting over the line was the struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. We were wasteful with many of our chances. I know you've picked a few specifics out there. Callum Mwendo looks a real handful, but missed 1 or 2. And I can't remember what Ange was whining about on offside, but there was one offside that may or may not have been. I can't remember the details now. But for me, it's football basics. You know, we once we missed those chances and they scored that goal, I'd already consigned myself to penalties. You could just see it. And it's just the reason I think we lost that game. Lots of reasons, of course, there's more than that. It's when we made all those substitutions, and I'm not criticising Ange specifically for this, he's got to look at everyone. Both, we were saying, watching the game, that is a lot of skillful but physically relatively weak players we now have on the pitch in that midfield. McAtee would fall over in a gust of wind. We know what a fantastic player Gibbs White can be, but his strength isn't his thing, is it? And pace. He's clearly a creative player. Some of the wide players are similar. Back was not, but he obviously had gone off. He's extremely strong. I just felt that there was, against a championship side, let's not forget that. We should be playing well against a Championship side. Championship is a very physical league. I know the Premier League is as well, of course it is. But we suddenly had lots of, I don't want to use Cloughey's word, airy-fairy type players on the pitch at once. I think it's pretty clear Gibbs, White and McAtee shouldn't really be on the pitch at the same time. It just doesn't work. Wherever they're playing, it just doesn't work. And once Gibbs White came on, McAtee gave the ball away once, a bit like the previous game, McAtee gave the ball away quite a lot, having put in a worldie of a pass. There's so many reasons lead to that defeat. Poor defending, and ultimately it comes down to old cliche in both boxes. Poor defending in one box, a substandard goalkeeper, and then poor finishing in the other box. And if you do that, you give a team a chance. As every time we missed a chance, Swansea must have been thinking, this could be our night. They're missing all these really good chances. This could be our night.
I don't know whether you saw the final whistle on Sky Sports coverage. They put the camera on Ange and he was walking towards the away support, pointing at his chest. It was a very, very fleeting clip of that. And I wondered if he was going over and saying, that's on me, that's my fault. It's difficult to know exactly what he meant, and I don't know whether he's referred to it in any interview or presser since then, but that was the first impression I got. When you're doing that sort of thing right after the final whistle, it's almost admitting that was on him for his team selection.
Yeah, he's still saying all the right things and making all the right noises and pointing at his badge. I couldn't give a monkeys about any of that. It's what happens on the pitch, and up to now, we've conceded 3 goals a game, albeit it's a bit unfair to say anything about the Arsenal game. It's got to start getting it right on the pitch very soon. Otherwise, we're going to be one of those clubs that's had 3 managers in a season.
Yeah, okay. Let's go straight on to our takeaways then, Kate. We normally do this after every game, of course. What are your 2 takeaways from the game this week, please?
So my positive takeaway is that the goals that we scored were fantastic goals, team goals. I think one of them, they said on the commentary that there were like 15 touches or 15 passes or something leading up to the goal. And I wrote it down at the time, it's gone from Luis to Hutchinson to Jesus. I can't remember what order it was, but I remember writing it down and thinking, this is incredible. This is great. So the goals that we scored, fantastic. My less positive takeaway is that Ange ball doesn't work if you don't bury your chances, because we did have them. We did. But, there's no point if you're going over, if you're going wide, if you're scuffing, that it doesn't work. Yes, we had every opportunity to win that game 5-6-3, as it turned out, but we didn't. So that's my negative takeaway.
Did you see that picture doing the rounds that might demonstrate that exact point, Kate? It was on social media, and I remember seeing this during the game where that Swansea player, central midfielder, picked up the ball on the edge of his own box. He ran straight down the middle of the field, sold a dummy to a couple of Forest players, and found himself immediately in the Forest half, bearing down on goal with 2 Forest defenders in front of him and a line of 4 Forest players immediately behind him, chasing him back. Don't know what to make of that, whether that was just a great bit of skill by a Championship player or whether it's a flaw in the system.
And it's Swansea. That's the thing, isn't it? It's Swansea that have done that. So, exactly. It is a flaw in the system. And it happened against Swansea.
It's going to take time, isn't it? I think my 2 takeaways are very brief. And unfortunately, I'm saving my positive for Mollo's moment later. So I've gone with, when you look at our sort of best 11, 12, 13 players, whatever you want to call it, because so far most of the backup players haven't really shown me anything to say that they're going to do very much. Some have. We're in trouble if Matt Sells gets injured. That's my first takeaway. And my second takeaway is we're in big trouble if either of our first choice centre-backs are out for any length of time, because it doesn't matter. And piggybacking on what you said there, Kate, it doesn't matter how many chances you create and miss if you don't keep the back door shut. It just football doesn't work that way, does it? You can't leave the back door open against Swansea. Forget the opposition even, against anyone. So they're my 2 main takeaways. Pray for Sells, Murillo and Milenkovic never to get injured this season.
Okay, it's a nice segue actually into one of my takeaways, and I want to talk about Willy Boly and Ryan Yates, because Willy Boly fits in that category, I think, that you just mentioned in terms of filling in for Murillo or Milenkovic. Now, I believe he was at fault for 2 of the 3 goals. It was his man for the first 2 that he didn't pick up. Whether that's because he wasn't quick enough, wasn't reading the game right, hasn't played a lot of football over the last year or so, of course, so whether he was just a little bit rusty. But I do wonder now if that is the last we'll see of Willy Boly, given the fact that we are stacked to that position, albeit, like you say, Mollo, you pray nothing happens to the first choice and pairing. So I do wonder if now we see the end of Willy Boly, because I put the responsibility for those first 2 goals on him. And also another player I wanted to mention, part of my first takeaway, is Ryan Yates. Now, I had a message from a mate of mine who watched the game. He was quite frustrated afterwards, and he was messaging me, and he said, Yates is a decent player, but left gaping holes in the middle of the park, ball given away time and time again, can't shoot. What do you make of Ryan Yates? Because I quite like him as a player, and I'll tell you who this mate was in a moment. But just wanted to know your thoughts on Ryan Yates. He wasn't a particularly favourite over Nuno, and I didn't think he did too badly in terms of getting forward against Swansea. You could see he was playing a different role, but what do you make of him and his performance in this game, Kate, or his standing in the squad?
I think he had a bad day. I don't think there's any denying that. And he was also at fault for, was it the 2nd and 3rd goal? But I love him. And I hate to see all the stuff that's been on social media absolutely panning him again. And he's had that throughout his career. The guy he's Forest through and through. He had a bad game. Nobody is going to be feeling that more than Ryan Yates. Nobody is going to be wanting to make up for that more than Ryan Yates. And he is our captain for a reason. Lay off him. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm very much pro Yates as opposed to him not being in the team. I do like him as a player and as a person and as a captain, and hopefully he'll recover from this. I'm sure he will. He's done it before, of course. He's shown over the years he bounces back time and time again. So let's.
He wasn't the worst.
No, he's not.
He didn't have a bad game, but he was not the worst.
And the person who texted me that was Chelsea's dad, Kev, actually. So I don't know whether Chelsea was aware of the fact he was messaging me after the game, but this will be a nice surprise for Chelsea if she listens to this. I know Kev listens, so he wanted me to mention it on the pod, so I thought I'd take this opportunity. But that leads me on to my next takeaway, and it is kind of a positive, albeit it's not a positive we necessarily wanted to see, but it eases the fixture congestion a lot. Obviously, without the Carabao Cup now, there are going to be midweeks where we have a bit of a break for fans travelling and for players playing, of course. They're not going to necessarily feel the physical demands that they could have felt had they remained in the competition. So hopefully you'd like to think that little bit of extra rest when the next rounds are due to be played will help them for the subsequent fixtures. Ideally, personally, I would have liked them to have progressed in the tournament because, like we said earlier, you're in it to win it. What's the point otherwise? And they were only 2 games away from the quarterfinals. They should have beaten Swansea, and I don't know, obviously, yet who Swansea are going to play in the next round, but it's an opportunity missed, I thought, for certain there. But at least it does ease the fixture congestion a little bit. So what won't... let's expand on what went well and what didn't, Kate. I know we've touched on a few things, but what did you think in terms of the game? Were there any performances that you liked? Yeah. Anything that worked well? What do you think? And what didn't go so well?
So I think Douglas Luiz, maybe took him a few minutes to get into the game, I would say. But once he was in it, really impressive performance. Really liked him. Very much saw what all the fuss has been about. And again, I know this was against Swansea, but he was absolutely bossing it, and I really enjoyed watching him. We spoke a little bit about Backward on the last pod, and I said that I didn't really notice him. I noticed him, and he was great. Different great to how I expected as well, which just adds another dimension to him as a player and what we can come to expect from him. So I would say they were great. Hutchinson, another one, we weren't that keen, but he was fantastic and selfless in that second goal as well. I wrote his name down a lot when I was looking at, players that were involved, creating and making a good impression. So I would say some of those players, particularly those three, have really played their way into contention to start on Saturday. And that's got to be a positive because we were all desperate to see whether they would, and they did. Jesus as well, although he has started before, we need someone to finish, and he did. And he should have had a hat-trick. I do think that goal was onside. But, equally, it is what it is. They should have a penalty. So, in the long run, it probably came out about right. So, yeah, they would definitely be my positives. What didn't go well, we lost. We lost that one. Yeah, that didn't go well.
No, it didn't, did it?
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at nflsundayticket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Mollo, what about yours? I know one question I had written down, and we'll come on to it in a moment because Kate's already mentioned it, around what players would put themselves in contention to start against Burnley. Let's do that in a moment. But what were your overall positives and negatives from the game?
I thought there was 4 or 5 really strong moves in the game. Like Kate said, team goals, moves. We were good at opening up that championship defence with 7 changes to their team as well, let's not forget. The other positives, I'm with you 100%, apart from the first 6 minutes where he looked like he'd never played football in his life. Then Louise settled down and was very, very good. I think some of the players he brought off after 60 minutes or so was because they played their way into certainly the squad for Saturday, which I know we'll talk about. But Jesus was very good and bullied them and took his goals well. Thought Hutchinson, although he's quite weak, he made 2 good assists. The other one that stood out, my brain's gone, I think he met Bakwa. I like Bakwa. I feel like Bakwa might be the one to start on Saturday even, on one side. And then the Yates question, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that next time Yates steps on a pitch, he'll do a great job for us. There's no concerns there. Just one of those days, and as Kate said, nobody will be more disappointed than him. Although he was quite bad at times, he did have some glaringly good moments as well, didn't he? A couple of passes, very un-Yates-esque. I know he's got it in his locker, but he tends to do a different job. There, the positives were, in theory, should have been that we'd got through to the next round without playing particularly well, with a thrown-together team of almost reserves at 90 minutes, but obviously that wasn't to be. That's we still haven't got a decent backup keeper yet.
Yeah, and any particular thoughts on John, as he likes to be known, not John Victor? You were quite scathing of him during the game. I know. What is he not impressing you at the moment?
At the moment, no. I can't decide whether he's just very confident or very dodgy with the ball at his feet. He didn't make any mistakes with the ball at his feet, so I'm not having a go at that. But he should have saved that last goal. I know it was a great strike, but it was almost straight at him. Somebody texted me and says, a professional goalkeeper has to save that. Your brother saves that, Simon, without a doubt. Rock hard, but it was not exactly in the corner or miles away from him. Near post. However, it's only one game, and we've signed him for a reason, so maybe there's a lot more to come. But that did worry me a bit.
Yeah, I did think at first he was another Carlos Miguel with the way he was almost... It was like, show me you're panicking without show me you're panicking kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I was heart in mouth every time he got his feet on the ball, but he got away with it every single time and looked calm doing it, didn't he? Yeah,
slow
exactly.
motion.
So
just as the attacker was getting there.
Time will tell on his one. But for me, I was like, Jesus was great. Glad he got off the mark with a couple of goals. And I did wonder if he got taken off at half-time with Burnley in mind. You mentioned Hutchinson and Bakwa. I love that through ball from Bakwa to Hutchinson for one of the goals. I think it was the second one, I think, which was the great team goal. Luis as well, to a certain extent, I thought played really well, and McAtee I thought did okay when he was on the pitch. So there was a couple of basic mistakes he made, I recall, but generally I thought he was okay for a first game. So you're right, I don't think him and Gibbs White will be on the pitch much together. I don't think that will happen too often, but I thought he did okay. And the one thing that did concern me more than anything else was the fact that at half-time we were looking at a Bolly and Jer Cunha central defensive partnership in the second half. Two players who one had never played for Forest and one who'd played 56 minutes over the last 12 months. So they'd never played together, and you're relying on them to keep the defence solid for the whole of the second half. And obviously, as it turned out, it didn't work. And it did concern me at half-time that was going to be a bit of an issue. Now, they proved me wrong for the majority of the half. I thought they did okay, but then it all just collapsed. And I do wonder if some of it was down to the fact that those two players, relatively inexperienced, playing for the Forest and playing together and playing in that system, all of those factors combined, I thought, didn't help. So which players do you think will be in contention for Burnley? My thoughts are Jesus, certainly. I don't think he'll start, but should be in the squad. But Luis looks a good bet to start, I would have thought, in that midfield. Bakwa potentially, although it's going to be difficult to drop Ndoye or Hudson-Odoi to feature him. So lots of problems or conundrums for the manager to address. But where do you guys stand, Kate? Who do you think is going to be pushing for a spot in the starting 11?
I think that's what I would do. I would drop Ndoye for Bakwa. I wouldn't drop Callum. I know he's had a bit of a some people saying not very nice things about him either, but I wouldn't drop Callum, but I would start Bakwa and have Ndoye potentially coming on or not, depending on how well Bakwa's doing. I agree, Luis should start. I did read today, I watched the press conference as I always do, and he certainly isn't as confident that Murillo is going to start on Saturday as he sounded. He said it is looking unlikely. And it's interesting that you've just sort of spoken about who we put in if we're not putting in Murillo. And I don't know. Not Morato. And yet everybody's saying Morato because he's the one with Premier League experience. I wouldn't go Morato. I would be tempted to do something with Cunha. I thought he did all right. It's a tough one, yeah. But,
I do wonder if the opponents will dictate to a certain extent if Murillo isn't going to make it, who he plays up there. I'm not too familiar with Burnley nowadays, but what are their strikers like? Are they big and strong, or are they small and nippy? I wonder if in those factors will perhaps play a part in who that will be. But what are your thoughts, Mollo? Who would you start? Anyone in particular?
For me, there's a degree of excitement for the Luiz-Anderson partnership. You don't need a number 6 if you've got two quality centre mids who can cover each other when one goes and the other stays, sort of Steve Hodge, Neil Webb style. Centre halves, I wish you hadn't said that, Kate, because I've been so busy the last couple of days, I haven't seen any of the press conferences. Murillo not playing is a disaster. That said, I can genuinely see Morato starting because he was actually okay in the first half. They didn't create anything in the first half. He might not look the most aesthetically pleasing centre-back, but he did his job, which you can't say for the others in the second half. He won his headers, he won his tackles, didn't he? Okay, he's not great on the ball, but I don't care. We've got to stop Burnley at that end of the pitch and hurt them at the other end where they're actually quite strong. I don't see Jesus starting, but he's certainly made himself a certainty for the bench. And funnily enough, I was thinking Bakker and Hudson-Odoi might well be the choice, and not because Endoy's done anything wrong. I just think we need strength away from home, and Bakker is a unit. He's strong. He's not going to get bullied. Endoy is a fantastic player, and as he gets stronger in the Premier League, I'm sure he'll be amazing. But strength isn't his thing, is it? And I haven't seen the Pelters going Callum's way, funnily enough. I thought he's been steady the last couple of games. He's been double marked over at Arsenal, and he didn't have much an opportunity at Arsenal. He didn't give the ball away. He still keeps it, which can't be said for everyone. That's it for me. Those three are the ones, and obviously if we have to have a centre-back, Morato. I think Sangari is definitely got to be on the bench at most, unless he can do a job at centre-back, but then you can't tackle, so maybe not. That's where I'm at.
Okay, right. What about Mollo's moment then? You said you had one in mind. Where are you going with this one?
It's the obvious one again, I'm afraid. The second goal, the build-up, the fin. I love the finish of it as well when Hutchinson, who I thought was probably going to shoot and was within his rights to shoot, put it on an absolute plate. I thought that was very, very intelligent football play as well as being unselfish. Because 99% of wide players who've got a good goal scoring record and a good left foot would have just thrashed that, wouldn't they? So fair play to him. And that was a bit of an oasis. We said, funnily enough, we were saying at half-time, we're not playing very well, but they haven't created much, and we've created a couple of superb goals. It's like that thing where in the Premier League they talk about moments. We switched it on for a couple of moments and scored. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but that is the clear winner for Mollo's moment. If I'd have gone to the game, it might have been related to rain or getting through the door at 3:15. But as I missed this one, it's the goal.
Okay, right, on to man of the match. We do have to do it, even in a loss, as we've said before. Kate, who's your man of the match?
Jesus.
Mollo?
Jesus for the goals.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a Jesus hat-trick. Unfortunately, he didn't get it in the game, but he's going to get it on the pod. So, yeah, three for Jesus there. Right, let's do another quiz. Kate, have you got one for us this week?
Have.
Excellent.
Okay. Who scored the winning goal in the 1990 League Cup final against Oldham Athletic?
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, I thought you might. It's a good one for you to miss that. I thought, yeah.
Yeah, were you there, guys? I presume you were.
Yeah.
I was 10.
Yeah, I
appeared on telly as however old I was, as the camera panned round after the goal, after they'd scored, and I can even remember the commentary and everything else. And when I was at university and I had to do, it was sports science, and one of the things we had to do was to do with how you play a game. And I used the Nigel Clough pass as an example of splitting open a defence from that game when he passed it into the person that scored.
Yeah, I was sat right behind the goal, right near the back of the upper tier. I was for that one.
I was behind the goal on the first row of the upper tier. So when we scored, I was dancing on top of the tunnel thing.
Excellent. Yeah,
so I was actually poorly. I'd had an operation on my leg as a little 10-year-old. So there was no way I was going. But what we did do when they came back with the trophy, we got to go right to the front because I was on crutches and had a wheelchair. And so for that bit, I got to do.
Nice. Right, we'll give the answer at the end of the show, Kate. Give listeners time to guess if they haven't already, of course. So on to Burnley. You mentioned earlier, Mollo, it could be a really crucial and critical game. Has it come down to that already, do you think? Is it not too early? It's the third away game in a row and 3 out of 4 away from home. Is it critical because it's leading into Betis? Is that what you mean? Or is it critical from a league standpoint?
I think it's critical to stop the rot. Clough, I know we always allude back to Clough, and people younger than us probably say, "Oh, shut up." Clough had it right. Give me a clean sheet. That's what I want to see, a clean sheet. If it ends up being a 0-0 and we come away with a point, so be it. But we've got to stop the rot, and it starts by shutting the back door. I think if and I'm not suggesting we will, if it goes wrong, because Burnley are no mugs this year, they're very unlucky to lose to Liverpool the other day. If it goes that we come back there with nothing, that's 4 defeats on the bounce. That's not just a blip. That's just poor. And you can only have 11 players on the pitch. So having this massive squad of however many players we've got that cost however much money means nothing if the 11 on the pitch don't start getting the results and get a winning mentality sooner rather than later.
Yeah, what about UK? It's another loss. It would not be ideal preparation going into our first European game in 30-odd years, would it? So you'd like to think they need to have some momentum, don't they, coming out of Burnley in order to have a good opportunity to beat Betis. Otherwise, like Mollo said at the top of the show, winning is a habit, losing is a habit, isn't it? So Betis is not going to be easy regardless. So how important is it to come out of Burnley with a positive result?
Really, really important. So if we were sat here a couple of seasons ago, this would be the kind of game that we were targeting to get something out of. And Burnley will absolutely be doing that with the form that we've been in, and because we aren't one of the big six that we all love to talk about so much, that Burnley are going to be targeting this for a home win. Of course they are. They want to stay up. That is their goal for this season, is to stay up. So they're going to be targeting that. And actually, I think that's going to suit us, because I think that's going to give us opportunities. They have to go for the win. And I think they will go for the win. I think they'll be feeling confident because of the form that we've been in. And I think that gives us an opportunity to score some goals, dominate the game, and show them that we've been here a little while now. And yeah, we're not easy pickings. So that is very much my hope as to how things are going to play out. I think it's important because we don't get to go there again. You know, we were glad of that when we came away from Arsenal. That was one of the positive takeaways. We don't have to go there again. Burnley, we should win. And if we don't get anything at all, at least a point, we don't get a redo, and they are points dropped. So we need to win this game. And actually, regardless of Betis, we need to win this game. It's not about we win this game so we beat Betis. That's a misconception that you often get in football. Yes, obviously we want to be in better form, but this is about the Premier League. While we're quoting Cloughie, bread and butter, yeah, we've got to win this game. We've got to get something from this game. I've heard a lot of people say I'll take a point. I think that is because of the previous games that we've had and how we've not done well. I'll be disappointed with a point. I want 3.
If they don't, and they don't get 3, it's going to make that long journey home. You've got guys a little bit that much longer, especially Kate, because you're going to be making an appearance on Sky Sports, aren't you, on the way home? So hopefully, A, you won't have any travel problems getting to that service station that you've earmarked to drive to do the interview, and B, the result won't put a downer on the journey home either. So yeah, we'll look forward to seeing it. What time is it, Kate? Remind the listeners again where.
About 6:30 on the Vagabond.
So, and what services are you stopping off at?
I remember. It's on Google Maps. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe people can go and give you some moral support. So depends. Are you doing the interview in your car? So to get that little bit of quiet and a little bit of privacy, are you going into Costa and the services to do it?
I'm going to do it in the car. I'm going to put my boys in the boot and make them lie down so they're not on it. And I'm going to do it in the car. That's my plan anyway. I'll have a little play about on Saturday morning before I go with how I'm going to work it in terms of whether I take my laptop or do it on my phone. But, like I say, it's authenticity, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm halfway home from Burnley. You want to talk to me about the Burnley game? Well, I was there. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Oh,
yeah, and pray you don't get anyone in the background pulling faces or waving things in your ear and stuff like that. So,
car.
Or re-rate,
Car
yes.
park.
Yeah. Yeah, live on Sky Sports News.
And then that'll be the thing. There'll be other Forest fans, I bet, that stop there that have been to the bar a few times and taken the first service station stop to go to the toilet, and they'll all be behind the car.
Yeah, so tell them now which one you're not going to, so that they don't go to the one you are going to be in. So, yeah, best of luck with that one, Kate. So tell me, though, why are Forest going to win? You've said how important it is. Why are Forest going to win that game, Kate?
Because we're better than Burnley.
Simple as
That's
that.
it. That's all I've got. We're better than Burnley. We should win the game. We've got a better squad. There were some positives to take from Swansea, some lessons to learn. Let's hope we've learnt them. Yes. We've got to be due a win. Come on. Yeah. I know, it's a bit weak, isn't it, that?
No, you're right. I've got man for man. They're better than Burnley. With also all things being equal, they should win that game. Obviously, football is not like that all the time, but you can only play the team in front of you. The good news is the first team are likely to be back as well, given one or two potential changes that we've already discussed. So you'd like to think they'd have a stronger squad than what they did against Swansea. And, of course, they've had a rest as well. So they didn't have the I certainly Wood and Anderson didn't travel to South Wales with the squad. So those two in particular have had a good rest. Some of the others didn't play as many minutes as what they normally do, like the Hudson-Odois and the Gibbs-Whites of this world. And obviously Matt Sells didn't either. So there are most of the first team squad will come off the back of a rest. So hopefully that will do them some good as well. Okay, but what will stop Forest winning, Mollo?
For me, momentum, where we're at in terms of straight defeats, 3 straight defeats. I think if you're a Burnley supporter, player, you're looking at it, and not only a Forest in a bad run, let's not make any bones about it. We're currently in a degree of disarray at the moment between systems and that type of thing. So from their point of view, it's an opportunity. I think on a normal, previously, them feeling that confidence and thinking they can go for the win would work to our advantage because, of course, we can pick them off on the counter-attack. Right now, I don't feel quite the same, although we did score a couple of cracking counter-attack goals, I suppose, the other day. I think their defence is pretty tight. Yeah, I know it was the Championship where it was very, very tight, but they seem to be pretty tight on the whole so far. They kept Liverpool at bay for 94 minutes, whatever it was, and only a penalty. It's going to be a tough nut to crack. I don't think it's complacency anymore. I don't think we're going in as red-hot favourites like we were with West Ham anymore. I think a lot of people see this as a 50-50 game. Okay, I've got to disagree with you at least once a week. I've got to disagree. I think coming back with a point would be a good result at this stage, purely because it stops the rot. I think to lose again would be not disastrous, of course, but really, really difficult to come back from.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Ooh. Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder. Because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites. At participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Tonight, turn down the noise of the day and focus on the rest with AGZ, the nightly drink for winding down and resting up. New from AG1. AGZ supports your body's natural sleep cycle with clinically studied key herbs, adaptogens, and minerals in amounts supported by research. And no melatonin, helping you wake feeling rested. Wind down, rest up with AGZ. Learn more at drinkagz.com.
Oh yeah, I can't say that, obviously coming back with a point is better than coming back with nothing at all. I just feel it's important that we go for this one. And So, yeah, I mean, let's hope we don't get to a point in the game where I'm going, oh my God, I'll take the point, I'll take the point, I'll take the point. Let's hope that it's a really good, positive day for us. But
that's the question now, though, isn't it? You know, before the game, you know, we joked at Anfield last season after 85 minutes, I'd still take the point. Right now, if you offer me a guaranteed point from Burnley, not to sound negative, just purely because of what's gone before, I'd take the point on the board, put us on 5 points from, 5 games or whatever, and stop that rot. And particularly, I'd love a clean sheet. So I really did sound like a Cloughie then, didn't I?
Yeah, clean sheet's the first and foremost, isn't it? To build those foundations, get that clean sheet under your belt first. So predictions then. We've talked a bit already. Mollo, you say are you going for the draw in your prediction this week? Don't forget you can change your predictions in the Forest Podcast Prediction League as well. And I've done that today. Actually, I've changed mine. What are you going for?
Mine. I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, Kate.
I am going to go 3-1 to us.
Yeah, I was going to say win. I assume
1-3.
Hope. You're right.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, they beat Burnley 2 seasons ago, didn't they? And that last game of the season, which was great. The atmosphere looked tremendous for that one. And I remember seeing you and Ellie Mollo in the crowd at the end when the players were applauding, and I remember spotting you guys quite clearly for that one. Was tremendous.
My mate caught Gibbs' white shirt that day as well.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, he launched it up at him.
Yeah, I'm also on your side, Mollo. I think I'm going to go for a point, 1-1 this time around. I think I'd love for them to prove me wrong, go for the win, but that's form says otherwise at the minute, doesn't it? So that's why I've gone for the
question, draw. Where has that team gone from the first game of the season? I know Burnley, Brentford were in relative disarray themselves, but what they've done since then suggests they weren't that far off, and we absolutely annihilated them, didn't we? To add to why we, I know I was looking at reasons what might stop us from winning, but there is one word or two that I have to throw out there that is going in our favour. Anderson.
Yeah. I thought that when you said it, Simon. Yeah.
Right. Kate, quiz time again. I think Mollo and I know the answers to this question, but reveal all for the listeners, please.
Then, if you know the answers.
Oh,
so, who scored the winning goal in the 1990 League Cup final against Oldham Athletic?
The policeman's son.
Nigel.
Jemal.
Yeah, Nigel Johnson. Yeah, there you go. Positive, why not?
What a day that was.
Yeah, awesome. Let's hope for many more of those days. Unfortunately, it won't be in the League Cup this year, but let's hope for the future, of course. Now, Kate, any final thoughts before we draw to a close?
Have I told you that I'm going to Spain next week?
Have you mentioned it? And you've got a pool in your Airbnb.
My Airbnb. Oh, do you know what? It's just starting to feel so real. The ticket pickup point came through today on email. They've told us where the meet point is, where the fan zone's going to be, and we are just we're going to Spain. Why are we going to Spain?
I think, Kate, you should be volunteering to go on Sky Sports News next to your pool, not in a service station in Burnley. Right. Mollo, you're obviously off to Spain as well. Anything else you want to bring up?
No, very much looking forward to it, although it's very, very different from my last European tour. It feels like I'm going on a school trip where you're made to be here, there. I think it's really pathetic what they're doing with you've got to meet here, pick your ticket up here, you've got to be walked to the ground here. Hopefully it doesn't take the shine off it. When we went to Munich, we just, like our last time we were there, we just turned up a couple of days before, had a fantastic couple of nights, pulled up to the ground with our tickets an hour before the game, whatever, and it was great. No bother whatsoever. I'm not keen on this whole. It's almost like the ultra culture thing abroad again, isn't it? And what sort of thing Palace fans would do. However, at least all the bars and cafes around where we're supposed to pick up our tickets, I believe Kate was saying, is for Forest fans only. Which even that annoys me because I think creating a division like that isn't the way forward. I quite like, bumping into and chatting to fans from other clubs when we're away from home or even at home sometimes. So anyway, that's just something really gripey. I can't wait to go to Spain, let's be honest. A 3-day working week and some sunshine. What's not to like?
Yeah, so everybody, safe travels to Burnley tomorrow and safe travels for those going to Betis next week. We shall be back next week, of course, on Monday with a review of Burnley, and we'll look forward to that trip to Real Betis as well, coming up next Wednesday. In the meantime, bye from us for now.
Podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by ESPN. Catch the first WWE Premium Live event on ESPN, WrestlePalooza, live on Saturday, September 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be an epic night in Indianapolis, featuring some of the biggest WWE superstars. This event is only on ESPN, so go to stream.espn.com and sign up to the ESPN app today for your all-access pass to WrestlePalooza and all WWE Premium Live events.